Mlikota here, back again. And after my last video, I was chatting about confidence coming from action. So what I wanted to jump on today and share with you was a strategy that you can implement to start to take action to build that confidence. And I recently did a video on the 7 habits of highly effective people. And so what I want to chat to you about today is habit 2, starting with the end in mind. And the reason that I want to share about this one is because I was listening to Mel Robbins this morning and I was so inspired by what she had to share that I just had to come on here and share it with you. And it links back to starting with the end in mind. And starting with the end in mind is all about creating a mental creation of what you want first. So it could be that, you're planning to build a house. You don't just jump in and put all the bricks down and do whatever needs to be done to build a house. I'm not a builder, but you don't just jump in and do that, right? You design the house and you create that picture, you create that vision first. And it's exactly the same with your life. It's exactly the same if you're about to embark on a project. Having that ability to start with the end in mind means that you can actually start to visualize and create what it is that you want in your mind first. And so I was listening to Mel Robbins and she was talking about visualization. But what I loved so much about what she was sharing is she actually shared the brain science behind it, which is my passion, is really understanding, well, how is the brain wired? How does the brain then move to respond to the visualization? And so I linked it all together with starting with the end in mind and actually visualizing what we want for our life. And then I linked that back to, well, that's where confidence really does start, because you're then taking action. So let me take a few steps back. So what Mel Robbins was talking about is the ability to actually start to visualize what it is that you want for your life. Being actually able to see what it is that you want for your life. And then starting to take the steps forward. And the way that our brain is wired is that we have a part of our brain called the RAS. So it's the reticular activating system. And this is where we start to look for things and we start to take on more of what we believe to be true about the world. Because the thing is this, from a scientific perspective, there is millions of bits of information coming to us in any 1 second. And our brain, it would be way too overwhelming. We wouldn't cope with all of that information coming in at us. So what our brain does is we filter it and we delete anything that we don't believe to be true about the world. It's like when we read something and it validates our opinion about something, we feel good. And the reason that we feel good is because it's a belief. And our beliefs come from the ages of 0 to 7. So the way that we see the world, unless we have done the self-work, the way that we see the world has absolutely been created from the ages of 0 to 7. But it comes back to the ability to cast a vision for your life, starting with the end in mind, visualizing what we want first, and then taking action. It was mind-blowing for me. And I really started to notice, many of you who watch my videos have seen my life. 5 years ago, I started meditating because I had to. I was experiencing anxiety, overwhelm, and I had to start meditating to manage my self-talk, manage, what I was thinking about the world. And so slowly I've been progressing into different things that I'll meditate on. And this year, for example, I've started doing visualizations, meditations. And I always thought, that was a bit spiritual for me, but it's now that I understand the brain science behind it, I love it. And so, for example, what I will start doing is creating and seeing myself where I want to be in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, starting to actually visualize and create that. And so the 2 tips that Mel Robbins shares is that we need to be able to visualize it. That's the first tip. The second tip though is that we actually need to put ourselves in that state and feel how we're going to feel when we achieve something. Because the thing is this as well, our brain doesn't know how to distinguish between what's real and what's not real. So when we are visualizing something, seeing something, casting that vision, starting with the end in mind, that's what our brain actually sees to be true, and it's what it then starts bringing into our world, and it's what our reticular activating system starts to focus on. Lots of big buzzwords here, but essentially when we focus with the end in mind, we can actually start to create the life that we want to create. And I am just absolutely seeing this. It's true, it's working, and I now believe in it so much more because I understand the science behind it. So I want to share that with you today. So what I'd recommend for you to do is join me on visualizing what you want for your life. Visualize it, see it, believe it, and then also connect with, because the biggest thing that drives us from a motivational perspective is how we feel about things. So connect with the feeling that you'll then have. So maybe it's a promotion. How are you going to feel at the end of that? Maybe you want to work on your relationship. How are you going to feel at the end of that? Maybe it's you want to start a new business. How are you going to feel when you achieve the success you want to achieve and that confidence has grown because of the action that you've taken? This is how we really start to create and live a life of our dreams, a life that we deserve, a life that you absolutely deserve, because you are enough, you matter, you deserve to have this amazing life, and so do your family. So join me on creating and living an ultimate life. Let me know in the comments below how you go with this, and I can't wait to be back on here again really soon. Bye. Hey everyone, Mlikota here. If you liked this video and want to receive even more like it, then click the subscribe button below so that you can keep updated with regular content that I am posting just for you. So take action right now, click the subscribe button below, and I look forward to connecting with you again really soon.